All right, a picture's worth 1,000 words, so I've had some questions about uh, what's due when, and am I going to put out all the information for this class at one time? Um, I can't do that, and the reason why is there's a federal law that says if students are receiving any type of financial aid, you can't put all the information out for the class at one time because that's like a correspondence course. And so, information for chapters 1, 2, and 3, they will be released as we progress through the book. And I think that's a good thing. I think if you put it all out at one time, it overwhelms students sometimes. It also lends itself to if someone's getting outside help, they have somebody come in and do all the work for them in one setting or two. So I can see why it's actually better to release the material one chapter at a time. Also, I think releasing it at one chapter at a time, it encourages you to read the material, and I think that's the most important thing in 120 is for you to read the chapter 3 to 5 times and make a journal. Now that journal is nothing that's part of your grade. If you want to know, what's part of your grade, you just start here with start here on the on Blackboard's page for 120, and you open this up, and you can look at each one of these um, files or documents. But the main one is the syllabus, and so if you click on the syllabus and then you click on this arrow here. Here's the syllabus. You can download it and print it if you don't like looking at it this small. You can also expand it here. So if you want to save a tree, you can definitely expand it. If you want to increase the size, you can do that as well. So this is a standard online course. You can, if you are having problems and you like to meet with me, you can click on office hour appointment. So if you click on this, that will open up another page that shows my office hours. Let's see if that, so here it is. Let's see, I believe this is it. So when I clicked on that, that'll open up another tab, and you can see for January 15th, actually, there shouldn't be any dates available. We're on holiday break. It's Martin Luther King Day, so I will have to take those down. But on the 17th, you should be able to select one of these times if you want to meet with me online. It doesn't have to be in person. Just let me know it's online, and I'll set up a camera and microphone in the office, and we can discuss your work. The only thing about scheduling an appointment is like you say, well, what about tomorrow, the 10th? Well, you do have to schedule the appointment 24 hours in advance. That way I can prepare for your appointment. So that's why you don't see the 10th available at this point. And again, the 15th shouldn't be available. So just keep that in mind if you want to schedule an appointment. It's easy to do. You just click on the syllabus and click on bookings there, and just hit control click and it'll send you right there. So the rest of this I'll let you read, but make sure you read the syllabus multiple times. I find students a lot of times they don't read the syllabus until they have a real problem, like maybe they don't realize that the deadlines are hard, that there's no extensions to work in this class. And to counterbalance that, you get to drop your 2 lowest LSs, your 2 lowest assignments, your 2 lowest quizzes. Those will be dropped in calculating your final grade, not physically from the grade book, but just from the calculation. And so some students don't know that, and that's because they haven't read the syllabus, or they think there will be an extension and there's not. And they say, my Wi-Fi went out, and I'm like, yeah, that's not a cause, because the reason why that's not a cause is that materials are open for multiple days, and you should always try to complete the material way before the due date. I mean, the due date is the hard deadline. You should impose a self deadline on you so that keeps your stress down, and it makes the class much more enjoyable. If you're just pushing right up to the last 2 hours to get something done, you're not really learning it, and it is causing a large amount of undue stress. So I'm trying to help you. This is a nice introductory class, trying to teach you how to be a good student. And I do give you freedom here. That's why uh, I'm not going to be micromanaging you. It's pretty broad, but the deadlines are they are hard deadlines. Uh, why do we have to have a TI 30X2S calculator? That's the requirement of the department. We try to use other calculators or let students choose, and what ends up happening is they get a TI 83 and they store information on it, and then they're cheating, and it just became a really big problem. And this TI 30X2S calculator is about $12. It'll do everything you need for this class and any other chemistry class we offer at BCTC. So that's why we've done that. Periodic table, I provide one. You just need to print it off, and you'll have that in front of you when you take an exam. Um, and then at the end, we'll have a final. So this, and you'll submit the final as a Word document. So I don't have Word. Well, BCTC offers Microsoft Word for free. You just need to contact academic resources or technical support. They also offer a laptop loaner program. And so if you need a laptop, you can apply for that as well. I'll let you read the attendance policy. So I guess the reason why I'm making this video, they didn't understand about the no-show assignment. So right here in red, it says you must complete and submit the SBLS for Chapter 1 before 11 p.m. on Tuesday, January 16th. That's next Tuesday, to remain in the class. If you do not submit this, you will be purged from the class. So if you don't submit it by Tuesday, 11 p.m., you will be purged. And usually this doesn't happen. I noticed today, it looked like about half the students have already done the Learn Smart. They're already on the assignment 1 homework. So that shouldn't happen. And if it does, I just think the student's not engaged in the class. So, I mean, we're at Tuesday right now, January 9th, and you've got a full week to get this turned in. So, and it's not that hard. There is quite a few questions, and it is based on the reading. So I find students who, if you don't read the book, you will spend an inordinate amount of time on this assignment, the LS. All the LS is doing is just testing your reading comprehension. So if you start not getting the LS questions correctly, it's time to stop and reread the chapter or read ahead, because that's the reason why we have the LS, is to gauge your reading comprehension. Because I hear a lot of students say, well, I read the chapter, but I failed the test, and I don't know why. It's because you didn't really comprehend what you read. You read it, but it didn't internalize, it didn't change the brain chemistry in you to say, oh, C stands for carbon, or Avogadro's number 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd. So work ahead. A little each day is better than trying to do it in 2 or 3 days. And you are going to read this material 3 to 5 times. I mean, that's the thing about an online class. You don't have lecture, which would normally be, excuse me, an hour and 15, hour and a half. So you don't have that time. You don't have that lecture. So the way we compensate for that is by you reading the book, and I will post some videos on particular topics that students have trouble with. I'll let you read the rest of this. But you do really need to read the syllabus. If there's something you don't understand about the syllabus, make sure you contact me. So when it comes to what's required for the course, that's why we have this. This is what it is. It says reading and comprehension of the materials in each chapter is required. See the course syllabus calendar, which is later in this syllabus. The completion of the attendance verification materials, which is homework 1 by August 22. Oh, well, there's a problem here. There's a typo there. So what this should say is what we saw. So maybe that is the confusion. If we go back up here, we see in red that it's the SBLS Chapter 1 before 11 p.m. on January 16th. So this is a copy mistake. So this should say LS SB for Chapter 1 by January 16th, 11 p.m. All right, so there's a problem there. But then here's what you're graded on. Those smart book modules called SBs or LSs, your Connect assignments, your Connect quizzes, your Connect exams, and a comprehensive final at the end. Talk about taking a proctored exam. Here's what they say. The only thing I find some students kind of worry about is a hardwired connection to the internet. If you use Wi-Fi, it times out sometimes, and it breaks you from the exam, and then you're scrambling to get back into the exam, and it's a problem. And so you should use a hardwired connection. What does that mean? It means an Ethernet port, or the newer computers use a USB-C port that hooks in there, and that hooks to your router, and then that goes to the internet. That's the best way. That way you don't have any interruption service. And and you say, well, my computer doesn't have that kind of port, doesn't have an Ethernet. Well, then you're going to have to go access a computer that does, like at a library. Public libraries generally have hardwired computers. BCTC campuses, they all have hardwired computers. So there are ways to make sure when you're taking a quiz or an exam, use a hardwired connection. You just got to plan ahead. And again, the exams are open for multiple days, or at least 2 days. So you should, just plan ahead for that if you don't have an Ethernet connection. But if you have a router, you probably have on the back of that router an Ethernet connection, and then hopefully your computer. I don't know about a Google Chromebook. I haven't looked at one of those, but hopefully they have a connection. So here's the big thing, and it's so important. It's here, and I can show you another place it is. But if you click on this, control click on this troubleshoot here, it will determine if your computer is up to date, if it's compatible with Connect. So let me minimize this. It popped up right here. You should have all green checks here. If you don't, you can click customer support here, and they will tell you what's wrong. But you should have all green checks. If you don't, do not take a quiz or exam. Make sure or anything actually, but a quiz or exam really important. Means something's not going to work correctly. So I'll show you 2 places this is. This is one place. It's so important. It's another place as well. If you go down here to academic resources and technology assistance, either one of these, you can click on this. There's McGraw-Hill Connect. You click troubleshooting, and it'll analyze your computer. Now, if you have real problems with Connect at any time, like I don't generally answer any emails after 6 or 5, you can always click digital support here. And if it's because Connect has a problem, you click on that, and you can click on contact us, and you can talk about customer support. And usually when you hit contact us, you can email, live chat, or phone. If you want something really fast, I would call by phone. Then I would do chat if I need something really fast. If you're just wanting to document something's wrong, that doesn't matter, it's not really time conscious, then I would do the email so you have a document there. McGraw-Hill will look at it. If they think there is something wrong, they'll contact me as well. They'll say, hey, there's something wrong with this. You need to adjust your points or whatever. Most of the time that doesn't happen, because if there's something wrong with Connect, then I'm not happy and you're not happy. So I'm going to tell you that I've been using Connect a long time, and it doesn't have many problems. I mean, maybe a half a problem a semester at most, maybe a half. I don't know. I don't even know if it has that. It's pretty ironed out. So it's under academic resources, but it's also under technology assistance here. Like I said, it's so important. I put it in 2 places. If you're having problems with Blackboard, that's a different thing. Then you need to look at the rest of this. So Blackboard is one thing, and McGraw-Hill Connect is another. All right, let's go back to the syllabus. So let's look at it, and let's expand it. Let's amplify it. And let's see. So here's what you're graded on. We've already talked about that. This is the stuff, okay? This is about the exams. 5 exams in Connect. And there's what the requirements are. Any grade you get, if there's something you don't think is graded correctly, or make sure you contact me within 4 days of posting, and I'll look at it and I'll respond back, and we'll come to an agreement if something needs to be changed on. But after 4 days, the grade becomes permanent. So at the end of the semester, you say, I need 2 more points. All that stuff is locked in. I can't change that. So make sure you look at your grades and what you missed, so you think it's correct, or if you think there's a problem, you can let me know. Makeup work, like I said, there's no makeup work. There's no late work. And the reason why I have this policy is that everybody has different reasons why they miss something. It could be your Wi-Fi is not working. It could be my computer's broke. It could be my boss called me to work. It could be I'm on the basketball team and I've got to play tonight and I can't get this done. So I don't want to get into excuses and trying to be Solomon and which excuse is valid, which one's not. And so you get to drop your two lowest homework grades and your two lowest LSs and your two lowest quizzes. And so that's what's happening here. It's not spelled out quite right here. It says 2 scores on the homework. You'll see it here though in the grading scale. So it says drop your lowest 2 grades, drop your lowest 2 grades, drop your lowest 2 grades. So we're doing 10 chapters and that's 100 points, but because we're dropping the lowest 2, it's only 80 points. So whatever your lowest 2 are, even if they're all 100s, and that happens quite a bit with the Learn Smarts, I dropped the lowest 2 because that's what it says. So don't be alarmed if you have 100s for all your LSs at the end of the semester. You drop 2 of them, yeah, there's going to be drop. The lowest 2 will be dropped, and for all the same, they're 100, there's still 2 going to be dropped to make it match the total points here. And to make it match the total points available here. So just keep that in mind. Again, there's the excuse. So this one is correct. See, this one's spelled out correctly. It says SBs, assignments, and quizzes. There's a problem with that other one. All right, so withdrawal policy, the main thing to remember here, at midterm, you have to decide you're either sticking with the class or not. I don't sign withdrawal slips. So at midterm, and I'll tell you it's coming up, it'll be on the Blackboard announcements, it's in the Blackboard, it's in the syllabus calendar. But once we reach after midterm, you're in the class to the end. I don't sign any withdrawal slips. So you have to decide at midterm if you're staying in the class. This is about my office hours, no excuse policy, so forth. All right, let's look at the calendar. So here's what we're doing. It's Tuesday. We did assignment 1. This is what you look at. Assignment 2 is read the rest of chapter introduction up to section 1.5. And you're going to finish chapter 1 on Tuesday, and the LS is due by 11 p.m. Now, what I'm seeing is about half the students have already done this, so that tells me hopefully they've read chapter 1, and it wasn't that hard. It shouldn't be. It's not that many pages to look at. It's like section up to 1.5, and then 1.5 to 1.6 to the end. And you answer the questions about the LS. There's about, I don't know, 30 or 50 questions. And if you've read it and understood it, you can answer those fairly quickly. But if you can't answer it, it means you really haven't comprehended what you read. So this is what's due for you to remain in the class. Anyone who does not turn this LS in, they will be purged from the class on Wednesday. And you probably won't show up till the next week, though. But the process happens here. The assignment, which is also posted, is it's due by Wednesday at 11 p.m., and the quiz, which is not posted, the quiz will always post the day the assignment's due. So it'll post at 6 a.m. on Wednesday. And you will have until 11 p.m. on Thursday to complete the quiz. So that's the way it works. So that's what I'm saying. It's multiple days. You say, well, I had to work on Thursday. Well, you didn't have to work on Wednesday. So go ahead and do the quiz on Wednesday. Do it as soon as this stuff is open. And therefore, you don't get into those pinches like, oh, something came up and I couldn't do it. All right. So then you can see the LS for Chapter 2 is due on the 23rd. The assignment is due on the 24th. And then we have the quiz due at 11 p.m. All right. So that's one place you can look. The only problem with the syllabus calendar, if you get to the end here, it says it is tentative and it can change. And if it changes, I'll let you know in your Blackboard announcement. So the 120 pretty much stays like it is. I don't really change. I mean, unless something catastrophic happens, this calendar pretty much stays in effect. All right. So read the syllabus very carefully. If there's something you don't understand, And I do see I see this point right here. This is not correct, and I may change it. It's not that big a deal. But that I could take out. Since I've already explained the no makeup policy, and this other one's a little redundant, I could take that out as well, but that's about it. All right. That's what happens when you copy and paste. All right. So let's go on. That's the syllabus. Grade and feedback. I mean, all of these, you're going to say, well, this is what we just looked at. You're right. This is exactly. And see, this one does spell it out. Learn smart quizzes. I don't know what happened with that other one. There's some kind of artifact there, but there's your grading policy. You want to know about me? You can click on that or my office hours and so forth. And then if you need accommodations, make sure you do that. So if you need a low stimuli environment to take a test or something like that, make sure you contact Disability Support Services or Accessibility Services Office. We do have tutoring. We have free tutoring on BrainFuse. You click on this. Let me tell you what BrainFuse is like. If you need a tutor, and I think most people do need a tutor, it's just somebody to dialogue with, somebody to talk with. Now, hopefully, if you're taking this at a high school, there's other students in your class taking it, so you can meet as a group and talk about what you've read and what's this about, maybe in the library or study hall or something. But if you need somebody to dialogue with, then click on BrainFuse and meet with a tutor. Tell them what you're having problems with. If you don't like that tutor, then don't use them again. And it's kind of like speed dating. You're going to see lots of different tutors. If you find a tutor that speaks to you and that you really like, you think they're explaining it well and they're letting you explain it and so forth, then lock that person in and schedule weekly appointments with them. That's what I would do. Now, that means you might have to go through 5 or 10 tutors before you get the one that you really like. But once you get the one you like, it'll help you with all your classes. So that's a good thing. Let's see. I think that's about it for that. Periodic table, like I said, this is the periodic table you're going to use on an exam. Just before you take the exam or right now, just go ahead and print one of these off. Have that in front of you at all times when you're answering the homework or LS or whatever. And you'll have one of those in front of you when you take the exam. PowerPoints. The PowerPoint folder is empty here. And I'm not sure. Oh, I see what's happened here. I do have PowerPoints for 120. Let me look down here and see if they're in this category here. Yep. So, no. Okay. So, I can easily fix that. Let me do this. PowerPoints, the reason why you can't see them is when I copied them, it makes them invisible. So let me open these two first up for you. So now you should be able to see those. And let's go down here to Learning Unit 1, which is what we're on. And then we can click on the PowerPoints here. And let's make these visible. All right, so that takes care of that. So Learning Unit 1, let me go back to the student preview to show you what it looks like from your perspective. So if I've done this correctly, when you click on PowerPoints for Chem 120, now you see Chapter 1 PowerPoint and click on it. I think it's important that you look at the PowerPoints. You may want to download them. Some people, for their journal, and like I said, I've talked about the journal. The journal is for your benefit only. It's important that you write down what, you read some and you write down what you think it was about, like summarize it. Those definitions that are in bold, I would write those down. That's how you speak the language of chemistry. Like, what is a solute? What is a solvent? What is the unit for mass in the International System of Units or the metric system, which would be a kilogram? Some people print the PowerPoints off and they use this to write their notes on so that they're, it's hitting all the materials that are covered. And so, like you can see right here, this is a major topic in this class is that you can classify matter as a phase, liquid, gases, solids, or plasmas. It's all called matter because it takes up space and has mass. And then they talk about how we define that matter and the properties of matter. So I look at the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint is kind of a synopsis of what's really important in that chapter. And like I said, you can put that in your journal. And you say, why do I want to make a journal? Well, it allows you to use that as a study guide for your exams. When you're finished with the class, you can use the entire journal for your next class, so you're not starting from scratch. So like if you get in the next class and you come across like, well, they're talking about solutes, and I know I've had that, but I don't remember it. You can open up your 120 journal and go, oh yeah, this is where we talked about it. And the 120 class is going to do a lot more description on it because by the time you get to 140, they assume you know what a solute is. So it's important to keep a journal. I think if you look at my college career, I've always kept good journals or notebooks, as we would call them, and I used them. Like I used my notebooks for my classes, and I kept my textbooks to prepare for graduate school and so forth. So it's important that you do that. All right, so Learning Unit 1, that's what we're on. Overview just talks about what you're supposed to get out of this. And so, again, change these to questions, and you should be able to answer these questions by the time we get through chapters 1 and 2. Let's see. Competencies. I don't keep up with this. I mean, I don't think there's anything in this one, actually. I was going to do that, and I decided not to. PowerPoints, now they should be showing. They are. And then here's where you access your homework. All right. Here's one place. This is the best place. So when you click on this, and they're available, you have the Learn Smart module, the assignment, and the quiz. You click on the Chapter 1 Learn Smart. That's what's due first. It tells you when it's due. It tells you exactly. So you don't have to look at the calendar. If you look at this daily, shouldn't make a problem. And you click Launch here. And yeah, I can't do it because I'm an instructor. So too bad for me. I wonder if that's for everything. So let's try this again. So you should see it. You should see it. And I could fix that for myself here in a minute. Let me try this again because that's new to me. I didn't know I couldn't launch it. Yeah, all right. I can't launch it. Okay. I understand why, because then it would put me in the grade book and that would, that could skew things. So let me exit out of this. And let me click on it like this. And then let's click on it like this. Let's see what happens when I click on it now. So yours should pop up something like this. So look, I mean, 3 students have it done, 6 students not started, 10 of them already started. So that's kind of where we are, and that's, quite a bit of the class that's done this. So I'll click on preview. It'll launch. So you got to hit the launch the SmartBook preview. And this tells you it takes about this much time. There's 50 concepts. If it takes you a lot more than an hour or 30 minutes, that means you're not reading the book. You're trying to do it without reading the book. I've seen students spend up to 4 hours on an LS, and I've seen it. It's documented. And they were complaining about how long it takes. And when I started looking at what they're doing, they're just going straight to the questions, and they're not getting this correct. And then if you see this, there's 50. This isn't 50 questions. This is 50 concepts. And when you don't answer something correctly, it adds more questions onto this. So make sure when you start this, you're answering these questions correctly. Otherwise, it's going to take you more than an hour and a half. So chemistry is a study of the changes of matter, the properties of a substance, the matter and composition, the interaction of living systems. It says select all the options that correctly apply. And I'm going to say, that's a little tricky. Interaction of living systems. There's chemistry in that interaction. I'm going to try it and see. And then I want to say medium. I'm a little hesitant on that one. That's what I thought. This is a biology thing, right? Biology. But look, and biochemistry. That to me, see, that's problematic, and I'm okay with it. I mean, that's an interpretation. That's what I was thinking. The biochemistry between two living systems. It is chemistry, so it's okay. So notice what happens. Nothing changed up here. I didn't learn my concept, so I go to the next one. So then it says fill this in. It says completely fills the container. Well, I know that's a gas completely because it has indefinite shape, indefinite volume. That was in that table that I showed you in the book there. Solids have definite shapes. I know that. Liquids take the shape of the container, and plasmas generate electrical current, can carry electrical currents to generate. All right, so I'm 100% sure on this. And so notice there's that. If I get another one of these correct, see, I will probably finish the concept. So air is a mixture of oxygen, nitrogen, other gas. It's a nitrogen, oxygen, other gases. Oxygen itself is a pure substance. I'm 100% sure on that one. So see how this is filling up? So if I do all of these correctly, then it'll go fast. You can click on reading here and it'll actually it'll bring up the chapter, it'll bring up the book for you, and it'll highlight places where these answers are if you want to do that to the question itself. I see students do this. This takes forever to do it this way. I don't recommend it. I recommend that you read the book and then try to answer. So yes, there are people who kind of game it and just miss the questions, then go back here and read this and look for the highlight section, then go back. I'm just telling you, if you do that, it takes too much time. All right. Uh, let's let me show you the. If you're just reading the book, you're not going to go through the LS. You're going to go through the book. So over here on the left-hand side, let's see. Now let me put this in student preview again. So student preview says view course and institution tools. All right. Yeah, I don't really like the way that is. Let's see. Is that the best way to do this? All right. Well, let me show you. If I click on this, McGraw-Hill, oh, it didn't let me. All right. Well, that would put you to the book. So let me do that. Yeah, I knew that looked. So let's do this. Excuse me. All right. So if I click here and I click here, and then it says go to my Connect section. And I assume yours kind of looks like this, but the book, yeah, I don't know. This is where the book is. You can click here and open up the book. And I think there's a different way for you to do that, and then you click up, this is what I call a hamburger. If you click up here on the hamburger, you can change this to whatever chapter you want. So here's chapter 1. You click on chapter 1. This is page 2. And don't get confused with this 10 up here. This is just the number of page. It's not the page numbers. It's just the number of web pages. So here you are in chapter 1. You read chapter pages 2 and 3, and it looks like it ends. Then you go and click this, and that'll pick up at chapter 3 or page 3. And there's page 4, and there's page 5. Try to answer these questions to give you some more practice. Here's the states, macroscopic or liquid solids. So just click and then scroll down, and that's how you go through the chapter. And that's how you read it. All right. Now, when you do this in your book, you have the option of highlighting, writing notes, and so forth. So you can do that. So this isn't what you actually. Yours is a little bit more involved than this. I don't think I'm up yet. It says I can highlight, clear all highlights. There's a way for you to highlight the pages and take bookmarks and so forth. And that's a good thing for you when you start studying for an exam. If you got the things that you were having difficulty with, if you have those bookmarked or things that you need memorized, bookmark those pages and it's easier to get to them. All right. So I hope that helps. Let's see what else. I think that's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else right off the bat that people are emailed about. But main things: read that syllabus, start the learning unit materials, and make sure that you look at those PowerPoints. And what's going to happen is on Thursday when we wrap up Chapter 1, I'll post some videos for you to watch. If you're not understanding some of the concepts in Chapter 1, just let me know. I've got a video. And if you want to see those videos, let's see. Is there an easy way to do that? Yeah, you can click on the syllabus again. And in the syllabus, if you want to go to my YouTube channel, which has tons of videos on every concept that we cover in Chem 120, 140, 170, 130. It's right there. It says Professor Chemistry. It's an optional textbook supply. Click on that, and that'll send you to my web page. And it has this introduction. This is actually a whale shark at the Georgia Aquarium. That's the first time I ever saw a whale shark. I thought it was pretty neat. But there's popular videos. There's videos. My 170 class was having a little problem with Alex, which is different than Connect, so I made a video for them. You'll see your video here that I just am making right now, and I'll send a link to it. But you can scroll through these and see if there's something that you're interested in seeing and watching that. And there are some that are 120. Some of them are 120. Let me see if I can find one real quick that's 120. The naming video, it's not a 120 video, but it works for 120. I know there's some that say 120 on them, but there's one. So there's one on molarity. There's one on the joy of chemistry. So there are some like that. All right. I hope that helps. If it does, just email me. The whole thing is, when you're taking a class online, the only communication we really have is either email, or I can set up a Teams meeting. But you got to communicate with me. I don't know what's going on with you, because it's not like I see you in the classroom and I can ask you some questions in the classroom and see what you're getting and what you're not getting. You have to let me know. Tell me what you're struggling with, and I will either make a video like this, because that's what started this video, is a student emailed me and said I'm having some problems, or schedule an office appointment with me, and we'll work something out. But I just want you to learn the material. I want you to have fun learning it. Chemistry 120 is not general college chemistry. It is an introduction. It's to show you that chemistry isn't in your it is in your everyday life. And I think every person, every citizen of the United States in the world needs to have the basic knowledge of Chemistry 120. If we did that, a lot of problems would be solved. So I think it's worth reading. You may disagree with some of the stuff in the book. That's fine. If you disagree with it, just let me know. Tell me what your viewpoint is. I like to debate it. So if there's something you don't agree with, let me know. We'll talk about it. That's the whole reason why we have education, so we can bring ideas together and try to find the best solution or the best compromise. All right? So I hope that helps, and I hope you're having a good first week. Thank you.